motion versus what you received today. So start there.
Okay, in the initial motion, there are allegations of imminent danger, and let me make sure that I can put this out. So what was really happening.
Just lost her children, going through all types of duress.
Oh, I apologize. They were actually accusing her of getting out of line when they came to take her children. The 2 times that they came and
Okay, wait a minute. Hold on, Vanessa.
reason.
Hold on, because everybody mad and I'm mad too. Wait a minute.
Okay, all right.
So you telling me that you're blaming a mother for being upset for you trying to take her children after she clearly indicated that she wants to homeschool her children?
Yes.
And she's upset because you're trying to take custody of her children.
Right.
Oh, I'll fight too.
And so as a result, what happened in Buffalo, she got arrested and they impounded her car. And then once she got her car out for that, she went to court and they gave her until Friday to turn over the children. And she went to have some peaceful time with them before she turned them over. And what happened was, in a different jurisdiction, a handful of police.
Tell them where it was.
Cheektowaga. Yeah, right. It was Cheektowaga.
How did they find her?
I was in a hotel there, and what I was told was that the police came on the door to execute this court order, and basically they didn't knock the door down, but they forced the door open and took the kids from my client.
Is that legal?
The order that Judge Sezer signed does allow them to use force to execute the order.
So it's legal.
Yeah, so it's legal. And they impounded her car again, even though it was parked legally in the parking lot
Of where she paid for the hotel.
Yes.
Twice.
Okay, so now let's go back to what we're talking about today and share this video because the world is outraged. I think the country is outraged because, again, let me just put this back into perspective. This can happen to anyone
It has
Okay?
happened.
Because if you, in good faith, put in your letter of intent, and at that point begin to homeschool your children and not send them to school anymore, at that point, if the school is not communicating with the district, and the district is not communicating with the school, you are educationally neglecting your children. And then CPS can be called, and your children can be removed forcefully, legally, because you thought that everything was fine, and it wasn't. Okay, back to what we're talking about today. We talked about the first motion. We talked about the order that was given. Now, let's talk about the order that was given to you moments before you walked into the door. If you're in a red flag, if someone all of a sudden says, hey man, I'll play with you 21, and then all of a sudden the game about to start, guys, we have to do now we ain't got no game. I mean, I digress. Let me just put on the record. John Dunmore has no stick. He's a football player. He's a football player. Did he want a football player from Perth? One thing. Did he want a basketball coach? Another thing. Basketball coach. And all of a sudden, I think
substituted another one for it. And there was an order, that was the order that was, the original order to remove the kids that was attached to the original petition. I asked for that to be vacated because if you withdraw the petitions that are the underlying considerations for this order, it should have been dismissed.
Now rewind and say, oh, that's why we couldn't understand you.
Okay, so if you have one petition and then the Department of Social Services takes it back and withdraws it, basically they throw it out, they don't want to use it anymore, and they put a new petition in. The order was attached to the other one. It fell under the other docket numbers. So by operation of law, it should have been
Dismissed?
vacated, is what we would say.
So they say vacated. We understand it, thrown out, dismissed.
Right.
FOH. So that's what that is.
Yeah. That's what it should have been, and that's what I asked and requested that the judge do.
All right.
But
Did the judge do that?
No, she did not.
Okay, so what happened?
Well, I asked the judge, I beseeched her to let my client
She
have...
asked.
Well, I did.
Beseech is like almost begging, not
Well,
quite, but asking earnestly. She
Yes.
beseeched.
Well, at the beginning I asked,
she
but then
threw
as
it at
this
that
went
time.
on, I was like, you know, I have to appeal to justice here. The fact that my client hasn't had any physical contact with her children for almost a month, no fault of their own or her own. So what I was requesting was the dismissal of that order, the return of them immediately, or in the alternative, to let my client have unsupervised visitation.
What did the CPS attorney at that point say when you asked for her to have unsupervised visitation?
At that point, the CPS attorney argued that
We don't have to get into specifics, but
Right.
what did he do? What did he do generally that would make the average person like me infuriated?
he stood up and tried to
He mischaracterized it.
Right,
But
he mischaracterized something and tried to make the situation sound much more dangerous than it was. So he took something that could be construed either way and imputed it to be a serious threat.
imputed, again, it means to be given as,
Right, like, how
to
do
be imparted, to basically,
they can, it's assumed, kind of.
that's right, she is not a threat to her children.
No, she's not.
They weren't, but again, too, if you hear that if you see a dent on my car door, huge dent, and you say to somebody that yeah, we gonna kick this car door, and that's why he got that big dent in his car door, and then you go around and say, yeah, we gonna kick this car door, got this big dent on it. There's evidence that I literally kicked my car door, but you don't know what you didn't see was that I kicked the car door closed because maybe my baby was running and was about to run into the car door, so I kicked it closed so that she didn't get injured with the door.
Right.
So we don't know the background
Circumstances.
thank you, to reasons that this man brought these other unrelated issues
Right.
up in court
That
today.
had nothing to do with the children. There are no allegations that the kids were even ever involved in any of those situations that he was trying to impart to the court as constituting serious danger, so my client couldn't even be unsupervised with her children. That
Make
she's
sure you
never
share
been-
this video.
One of them
she's
was
never
in
been separated
2012.
for more than a weekend.
So
What-
this is quite the traumatic event. This mother is not, she's raised her children. She's raised her children. They're 8 and 11, around about.
She has them in many after-school activities. They compete in sports, dance. They are actually scheduled to go on some national competitions right before they were taken from my client's custody. So that's all been ruined. A lot of things that they had going on, because my client is a diligent parent. She's made sure that these kids are enriched in every way that she can. My
Well, let's
client,
make sure we identify she is a
college
homeschool.
graduate.
She's a college graduate. She's a homeschool parent.
Mm-hmm.
She was a homeschool parent the moment, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Red, she was a homeschool parent the moment she put in that letter of intent.
Correct.
Therefore, this homeschool parent is under attack.
Right.
So what was the end result today? What happened today?
Well, the end result was we didn't get any of the relief that we asked for, basically, from the judge. We did at least get supervised visitation, but the quickest way that we can get this resolved, if the county's not gonna cooperate with us and start to acknowledge the reality of the situation, we must go through the proper channels, and the proper channels are filing a motion, getting a response, and then setting a hearing date, which is a trial date in family court. It's basically a trial.
Can you go to the appeals court based on the one that they dismissed or withdrew that you asked for vacate? Can you now go into the appellate court division in Rochester and ask for them to hear that case?
I don't think so, because she didn't have the removal hearing here. So if she still wanted to have the removal hearing, she could have it, but the consideration is there are no rules of evidence for that. I've seen it before, so you can have someone get up on the stand and say, well, I heard from her neighbor that 3 years ago she had a broken bottle or something. Like, that's the basic level of the evidence that they put forth in a removal hearing. It doesn't have to be the best evidence. It doesn't have to be, well, it has to be credible, I guess, but it can still be third hand. It can be hearsay. Things that would never be accepted in a criminal case are
Right.
accepted in family court.
So the mother is not with her children. Her children are not with their mother.
No.
And this is a homeschool parent. So every homeschool parent or every parent who's thinking about homeschooling should be outraged at this point. And again, too, remember I told you all that I've considered homeschooling at one point, homeschooling my children. My wife and I, we still, to a very great degree, still do participate in homeschooling activities. My wife is always taking our kids to different areas to make sure that they have some type of supplemental education on top of what the school system is teaching them. So it is utterly important for us to share this video, make sure that everyone has the correct information. Thank you for your little angry faces, little angry heads, and little mad heads. We appreciate that because we know it just feels wrong. Everything about this feels wrong. And I'm still skeptical of everything. I'm skeptical of everything. I just don't know what's what because this seems unreal. This is surreal.
Right.
What we're experiencing. So make sure you share this video because we need everyone to understand what happened today. And what happened today was the system keeping a mother away from her children. That's the bottom line.
It's keeping the children away from their mother.
And keeping the children away from their mother, which is just
That's the worst.
so I couldn't imagine what this mother was going through. But again, let's make sure we keep this parent in our prayers. All right, y'all. Make sure you share this video with everyone. Is there anything else, Vanessa, you want to let everyone know before we sign off and do our interviews, our TV, whatever?
No, I think if anybody has any questions, I'm on Facebook. They can ask.
And you can add too for anybody not to be scared of trying to homeschool their children because of this. We just have to be strong to stand on our feet.
Right.
To just
Okay, that's a very good point. Listen, if you are going to homeschool your children, do this. make sure it's intentional. Make sure it's deliberate. Make sure you have all of your information first. Make sure you have your supports in place. Make sure you call
classwithoutwalls.com.
Make sure you have all of your supports in place, and also visit classwithoutwalls.com. Classwithoutwalls.com. Share this video. If you're serious about homeschooling, make sure you have all your supports in place before you make any moves, before you submit any letters of intent. Because no one makes a decision to homeschool overnight. So don't just make this a last minute off the cuff decision. Make sure that you have all your supports in place if you're going to homeschool your children. And go to classwithoutwalls.com and make sure that you have everything in place so that you are aware of what needs to be done. All right? Thank you all for joining us. I'm going to stick around on here because we have some other things that we have to do. So we'll just stay on here so you all can see these interviews. And then I guess we'll see how the news puts them together. All right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so... All right, so we'll just continue to shine a light, like you said, in every dark corner. Yes, Miss Mormon and Miss Mormon.
Can we also make sure that we also say that the two schools she pulled them from were failing schools? So she has every right to feel
But
that
that's not
they...
even the point, though. The point is she has a right to homeschool.
Right.
The point is she has a right, whether she put them out of City Honors or Hutch Tech, it doesn't matter what kind of school they were.
But that's a motivation.
It was failing them. It's her right to educate her own children if she'd like to.
Right. But that was her motivation.
Yeah,
it wasn't
that was her
just like
motivation.
she just felt like doing it. She was motivated by the fact that they were at failing schools.
Yeah. All right. So wait, this is... Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we definitely keep this family in prayer. The news camera's setting up now, so we'll stay connected.